I would say never stop fighting for your kids at these appointments or whatever you're needing. Fight for the appointment, fight for the second opinion, fight for what you think is best for your child because they really will do better because of that.
Welcome to
Sure.
Peyton. Peyton has been in my early intervention life from the beginning, which has been like August or September of 24.
Yep.
And I have just loved being part of their journey. It has been a beautiful one, an emotional one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'd love you to share a little bit about you and your family, and then we'll get going with our questions. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. So my name is Peyton, my husband's name's Jonathan, and our daughter is Morgan. Morgan just turned 2, and we've had the pleasure, like Nicole said, of working with early intervention for a couple years now, thankfully. Um, I mean, in short, my husband and I have been together since junior, or not junior high. We've known each other since junior high, but we got married and we were super excited to start a family and have kids and prayed for kids for a long time. And it took us about a year to get pregnant with our daughter Morgan and had a great pregnancy. And she was breech my entire pregnancy. And we later on found out after delivery that Morgan was diagnosed with hip dysplasia. And that was our first um, kind of introduction on day 2 of life for her that we would kind of be down this path for so long. And we've kind of had to deal with a lot of obstacles with that diagnosis. Um, but we've worked through a lot. We've gone through a lot as a family early on. And I think it just made us a lot stronger and a lot closer. So, I mean, we have lots to talk about, but that's kind of the short
What kind
introduction.
of what emotions did you have early on? And Peyton has a medical background, so she knows a lot of this stuff to begin with, so which sometimes I think it's easier, but it's actually emotionally a lot harder because we go to the what ifs a lot, right?
Very much so, yes. I mean, even at these appointments that we were talking with our orthopedic surgeon, he was continuously saying, "Wow, no one has asked this many questions." I'm like, yeah, you'll get to know that about me. But, as far as emotions go, it was, I'm day 2 postpartum, and that's a lot. It's your first baby. You have no idea what's going on. You're just tired and all the things. And then this doctor came in and said, "Yeah, your daughter has hip dysplasia." I was like, "What?" Like they never even mentioned that. I don't really know what that even means really. And she said, "Well, we need to go to these appointments at PCH and we'll kind of, the ch local children's hospital, we'll have to go through this whole, you know, series of stuff." And I was like, "Okay." And I remember her coming in, giving my daughter what's called a Pavlik harness, and it's this strappy system that keeps her legs in a frog position. Anyway, we were so overwhelmed. The emotions that came were like hopelessness, like so much sadness, and honestly, a lot of fear. We were like, what is to come? Like, and then you Google more and you're like, is she gonna walk? Is she gonna run? Can she play sports? Like immediately on day 2 of postpartum. And the fear really set in. And I just remember calling my mom and immediately and was like, you got to come. Like, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. Like, she's in this harness. They're telling us to go to an appointment. Like, it's not normal. Like, what are we doing? And the fear was overwhelming,
Yeah,
honestly.
I can't even imagine like having all of those questions and just you're already out of sorts after 2 days of just having a baby
Right.
and then just all of those emotions.
Yeah, exactly. It was tough. And then, my husband's, he's emotional about it. I'm emotional, way more emotional with all the hormones of postpartum. I'm looking at my daughter and I'm like, what do we do? I'm like, we were not expecting any sort of diagnosis outside of perfection with her.
So, and
Yeah.
then Morgan ended up having two surgeries even before her first birthday. So, which is a lot for any family. So, why don't you take us through like what happened? She had the first surgery and take us to what happened with the second surgery, how she came upon having another one.
Yeah, she had her first surgery when she was 4 months old. And I remember the doctor had told us the very first appointment we ever saw him, which we adore him. He's great with our daughter, which is why we continue to stay with him, of course. But he had said, we're going to be friends for a long time, is what he said. And I can hear that in my head even now, 2 years later, two and a half almost, we're going to be friends for a long time. And I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Fast forward, I'm like, wait, I don't want to be your friend. I know what that means. I don't want to be your friend, really. Um, no, she had her first surgery at 4 months old, which included, a body cast from basically the trunk down to her ankles. And she was in that for 3 months. And then that was, I could talk for 5 hours on that in and of itself, but the body cast was just hard in every aspect. And when we got out of the cast, we got into a different brace and we did therapy and we did everything under the sun, also to include in our struggle, my daughter had an NG tube since she was had trouble feeding. So we had cast issues and we had feeding issues with this NG tube on a pump and it was like very overwhelming. So we were in that NG tube for like 6 months probably. But the cast was for 3 months, and then the brace following the cast was for 3 months. So we kind of had to like transition out of those periods. And one of the things that we were told is that surgery is kind of always an option, essentially, with developmental hip dysplasia, meaning she could be really, really great and do really well for a long time and then not meet a developmental milestone at, say, when she was 13 months old. And we had our first surgery at 4 months, and she did really well, which jumped us up to 13 months old, or diagnosed at 12 months old. And he said, this isn't what we need her to be at. She needs another surgery. It needs to happen quickly. And we were like, wait, what? Like, we were doing so. I mean, she had just
She
started
just started
crawling.
crawling. Just started crawling.
Oh, it was so great. Like she just started crawling and we're showing her off basically at the appointment. We're like, look, she can stand, she's crawling. He goes, let me see. And he showed and yeah, it was rough to hear that second surgery was coming. More so like, you know, we know what we were going into this time. So it wasn't as unfamiliar, but we also knew what we were going into. And that kind of made it like, oh, we have to do this again. Like I don't, there's no other words to say other than like we feel so hopeless and defeated. And that was, I mean, we are so thankful for our village that has shown up in so many ways. And that includes family, friends, coworkers, our bosses, early intervention. Like people just really stepped up for us. And that made it manageable.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the tears and I remember that very vividly that time. And just my
Yeah.
thought of we've just gotten to this point of getting her, and then she's old enough now to understand. Like Morgan is a
Yes.
very advanced talker. So at like 13 months, she was pretty much speaking almost in sentences at that point. And so she
Yes.
understood everything too, I felt like, but that was really hard. That was a hard time.
Yeah, it was challenging because we had given away most of our supplies. I guess that was more of like a "Hey, let's just get it done and we're done with this. We don't need these supplies anymore. No, we needed them and more. And it was hard because, like I had mentioned, we kind of knew what we were getting into, and it was such a challenging time in that 3 months in the body cast with a baby who pees, poops, throws up. Like, I mean, she's a baby, she's an infant. And learning that we were gonna have to do that again was very defeating.
They came up with the most creative, like I'm really eager for families to watch this someday that are going to the beginning phases of having surgery with their child. And they had her on a scooter. They had her like she was on a scooter on her stomach going from one end of the house to the other. She it was insane. Some of the things they had activities all over the place, and they had like a little setup for her that she could do her activities. The ball pit. I mean, it just was
We
amazing the
had
things you guys came up with.
we had a lot. I cannot take credit for all of it for sure because so many people gave us ideas. But we did have the scooter board for her to crawl because ergonomically, like holding a child with this cast, it's very bulky and it's very odd to hold them. And
Yeah.
it's just different than you're holding, what might be my daughter now. So the scooter board was fun because she was able to like move around like independently instead of
Good.
having to rely on us.
Yeah.
And then she ended up even crawling in the cast the second time. And
She
that was incredible. I mean, to watch your child, thrive after being so limited in her mobility was really cool for us.
Yeah, and she
We just
crawled
like,
very quickly after the cast came off. Like
oh yeah.
we were shocked at how fast she picked it right back up. It was probably like less than 2 weeks, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think she was pulling to stand with that same day. And we were like nervous.
Yeah.
My poor surgeon, he knows when I email him, it's something. Because I'm like, could she be doing this? And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever she's comfortable with. So it was really cool
Yeah.
to see her thrive like that.
Yeah. So during those months of casts, appointments, therapy, recovery, what did you learn about yourself that surprised you as a parent?
Oh, I mean, so I'm a first time mom, gonna be second
Yeah.
soon. But I hesitate to say the word surprise, but I was very outspoken when it came to my daughter and advocating for her. And it's not that I didn't expect that of myself and Jonathan, my husband. I didn't expect us to sit back and just take whatever. But I was surprised how quickly, I guess, my mama bear came out.
Yeah.
Truly, we were fighting for a lot for her appointments with insurance companies, with doctors, with second opinions sometimes,
Right.
in X-rays, how to maneuver my child. Like you can't just fling her legs around. There were very specific things that I remember in that time period where I was very quick, very abrupt, and very mama bear. And I think that was something that kind of stuck out to me because I'm speaking to someone who's probably a superior or probably someone who's, higher than me in a hospital. And here I am saying my two cents
Yeah.
on what I think they should be doing. But I don't want to say surprising, but it was shocking to see, we would do anything for our daughter. And I think that really showed and still does, now that she's 2.5 even.
Yeah.
So that was something that I learned that my backbone is there, but don't mess with my kid,
Yeah, like
essentially.
putting your emotions aside in terms of the sadness, the hopelessness, and being able to
Sure.
push past that and advocate for her. Because some people could get stuck and wallow in the pity, and you guys were not those people. I mean, we had a couple of days here and there where it was like the initial diagnosis of having to do it again and what
Sure.
does this look like? But it was very and that's normal grief. Like I would think something was wrong if you weren't sad ever and you were just like, okay, we're just gonna do this and this. You dealt with the sadness and then you're like,
Mhm.
okay, what can we do with it? And then move from that point.
Absolutely. And I think I became like going back to my questions that I would ask, like I think I became very good at researching what I needed to learn what to ask surgeons, what to ask the doctors, how to kind of navigate dealing with many different therapies, with speech, feeding, physical therapy, ultrasounds, x-rays, MRIs. Like we did a lot of stuff and just managing that was a lot emotionally, and advocating for what you need for your kids was something that I am very like proud that we did. But it was kind of shocking because like I didn't care who was in our way essentially. We were
Yeah.
going to do what was best for our kid,
Yeah.
and
She's
that
so
was most
blessed to have
important.
you. So blessed to have you.
We're blessed to have her. She knows that.
So early intervention, ACT, our
Mhm.
company, became part of your family's journey even before I was on the plan. In
Yes.
what ways did having a team alongside of you make a difference, not just for your daughter, but for you and Jonathan as well?
Wow. Yeah, this is a great question because I had no idea about Arizona Early Intervention Program. Um, I think for like the first 2 months of her life, I didn't really know, I didn't even heard of it. And finally, a coworker had mentioned it to me, and I still thank her to this day, 2.5 years later. Like, thank you. Because, yes, you and the whole team, our previous physical therapists, because you were our second, we were like, oh my goodness, like, are we going to have someone just as good? And we totally do. Of course, we've been blessed tenfold, you know what I mean, by you and the team. But yes, you guys showed up for our daughter. You guys showed up every single week. You checked in, even when we didn't have appointments. You know, these people are constantly like, can we come and do this visit? We want to see Morgan. How is she doing? Which I'm very thankful for. Yes, I mean, I don't know another word to say that. We're so blessed to be with this company. But for Jonathan and I, um, man, you guys just showed up a lot for us. And you see the rawness and the realness of what we're going through. And you guys, more so for me, but very much my therapist as well, my like talk therapist and emotions therapist. Because some days you really need that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an honor to be alongside of you during that, and I loved how you would just ask the questions and be vulnerable about it, and just be able to work past that hard for your daughter and for yourself. So it was an honor.
I mean, beyond thankful is something to note for sure. I mean, you guys are in our home and seeing the mess and the real and, right there alongside of us. Not that other people didn't recognize that, but there were several times where I was like, is this an appointment for Morgan or for me? Because
Yeah,
I'm like losing my mind over here. But beyond thankful, you guys were a sounding board. You helped advocate for her. Yeah, I don't have any other words other than thankful and blessed for that because we're we were hitting a low for sure, rock bottom there for a little bit. And you guys really dug us out as parents.
I'm happy to hear that. And that the coaching model affords that opportunity. I think that sometimes when, you and I being a medical model in our background, it's a little bit
Mhm.
different to kind of shift to that. Like it's okay for us to sit there and hold space for you and cry and come up with ways that to help you, not just, it's about the family. It's about serving your family, not just getting your daughter to be able to walk. And that's the beauty of it. There's lots of leeway that we can work in there. And that's my heartbeat. Hence why I'm doing this too, is like to be able to help other families because the emotional part is, if not as important as more important, because if you don't have that ability to share with somebody, then it's just tasks.
Totally. And going back to what you said even earlier, just now, earlier today was like, it would be odd and unexpected for you not to have these emotions as a parent. And that, I remember you saying that to me, probably the first time I probably cried in front of you,
Hmm.
maybe the first visit, who knows? Um, I remember you saying that and being like, okay, like she gets it. Like sometimes you just need someone to listen to you cry about it and listen to how hard it is and listen that it does suck right now, but it's going to get better and I'm going to hold your hand through that. And that was really impactful. And as you said it, even today, I was like, gosh, I do remember her saying that because sometimes you just got to have a good cry
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I had
out
to
it and
learn that
let the
myself.
emotions out.
I had
Yeah.
to learn that myself. I didn't know that growing up, and in a lot of my adult life too. It's not a sign of weakness. It's grief.
Yeah,
Like if you don't grieve,
totally.
it will come back and bite you in the ass. And
It
so it's like
will.
you have to, and you feel so much better after you actually get it out.
Yeah, I mean, just having a space to be like, have someone hear me and be, you were obviously trying to help and do all, all these grateful things, but you're like, Peyton, just let it cry, just cry for a minute. And I
Yeah.
was like, you don't have to tell me twice. And I did. But that's something that I was very grateful for
Oh,
because it truly opened up like that space where you can just be vulnerable.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
So there were probably many moments where you felt like the future was uncertain with her. Was there
Yeah.
a turning point that you started to believe that Morgan was going to be okay?
Yes, we unfortunately live in a world of uncertainty. As I mentioned, the developmental stuff is she could be doing really well and then all of a sudden not be doing great with her developmental, it's like bone structure and different, very specific things that they need her hips to do. Um, so we do live in a world of uncertainty, and that's been a challenge personally with our family as well, like to deal with that. But I can remember so vividly when the turning point where I was like, okay, she's going to be fine. Um, well, October 8th last year. I remember it was the first time my kid walked. Um, without help, she walked like 10 steps across the room. We got it on video. I know I sent it to you.
Yeah.
I
You
sent
were
it to
at, were you at your in-law,
everybody.
were you at your in-laws' house?
We were up in Seattle
Oh,
at our
that's right.
family's,
You were in Seattle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but when she walked for the first time, it was like nothing else mattered. She was going to be fine. And since then, she has obviously continued to thrive and has done amazing. But that moment, you could tell, like Jonathan and I both were like, oh, like
You could exhale.
she did it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she did it. Like no help, no walkers, nothing. We were like, she really just did that. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. So that was the first time we both were able to breathe fully and say, this is good. This is a good moment.
That's awesome. So you said she's walking, she's thriving, she's talking, she's excited to be a big sister, and she actually graduated out of early intervention before her third birthday, like pretty much right after her second birthday, because there's really not much to work on her with. She's running, she's going
Right.
through the rocks, she's climbing upstairs, she's doing all those
Yep.
things. So what has it been like for her to just reach all these milestones now just so quickly and not even have to think about, is she going to do this? Is she going to do that? It's just she's being a kid now. She's a typical kid.
She's being a kid. It's something we have never been able to say with her up until literally after her second birthday, which was not too long ago. Watching I think every parent can relate to that, watching your kid do something for the first time or just something they've been working on or learn something new, their face just lights up. It feels so much more than that for us because we had hoped and prayed for those things for 2 years for her to just run and go and not think about is her hip clicking, is it hurting, how's her gait, is it straight, are her feet turned, so many things. But watching her truly thrive is cheesy, but the highlight of our entire life. Like, without a doubt, there's nothing more special for us than watching her just do it and do anything and without any care in the world. She is a typical 2.5-year-old running our lives, that's for sure.
I love it.
But it's the highlight of our day, every day.
I love it. And you definitely document all that on social media and like pictures that you have with your family. And it's so
Yeah,
beautiful to
we
watch
do.
it. All right, last question.
Yeah.
If another
Yeah.
parent had just told you that their baby had hip dysplasia or is facing surgery, what would you want them to know as they begin this journey?
I would first give them a huge hug, parent to parent, parent to parents. Similar to how you guys were with us, you just need that. Just someone to say, hey, it does suck that they're going through that. And we're super here for you. We want to be there for you. But going in to any appointment you have with your child that is experiencing something similar or a different realm, but kind of similar, my hope is that you should one know that you're definitely not alone. There are people here who want to support you, whether that's through your friends, family, AZIP. But on one platform I found very helpful was like social media stuff online. There's probably a support group for whatever you're going through online. And hip dysplasia is not something very common. There's not a lot of kids who are going through it, at least where we're at in Arizona. But finding people you can plug in with and just ask questions. So I used Facebook groups online, and those were places I could ask questions, get supplies from other parents, tips, ideas, tricks. So I really would encourage parents to do their research, plug into a community that can help, and ask the questions. There's probably a book about it. There's probably another podcast about it. But I would really encourage people to, one, get connected with other parents who have gone through this. I have friends in Texas. I have friends in Australia. I have friends in New York. I have friends everywhere, basically, that have helped with the hip dysplasia diagnosis that we've gotten. And we talk actually on a regular basis now, which is great. But additionally, I would say never stop fighting for your kids at these appointments or whatever you're needing. Fight for the appointment, fight for the or the second opinion, fight for what you think is best for your child because they really will do better because of that. And I guess lastly, lean on your village. My family and friends, AZIP included, have held us up quite literally have held us up as we've gone through this. And it's definitely okay to ask for help. And I'm not a person who asks for help very often, but we've had to lean on a lot of people. So my encouragement is ask for help, accept the help, and lean on your people and keep your foundation really strong.
Well, thank you. It was such a blessing to have this conversation with you. And I know that your journey, Morgan's journey, your family's journey is going to help so many people just be able to know that they will get through this on the other side and whatever feelings that they're feeling are normal. And it's okay. It's okay to feel that way and they'll get through it and their child will eventually be doing all of these things too.
Yeah, I think are children are resilient, is what I've also learned. And it's much harder for the parents to go through all of this. And yeah, it's much harder for the parent. And I'm very thankful for that, of course. But lean on your people and our little one's coming in, if that's okay. She
Yes.
wants, can you come say hi?
Come
Come say
say hi
hi.
again.
Oh my God.
Who
Say hi,
do you have?
Morgan.
Who's in? Hi. Who's in your hand? Is that Woody?
Yeah. Can you say hi? My name's Morgan. Hi, my name is Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
Oh,
It's so good to see you.
two. You're two. Good
Are
job.
you 2 years old? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm two.
You're
Okay.
Where's baby brother? Where's baby brother?
Where's air conditioner? No, where's baby brother?
Air conditioner.
Mommy's belly. Mommy's
In
belly. That's
mommy's
right.
belly. You're gonna be a big sister.
Yes, go back and play. She,
Bye.
bye.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you,
let you get
Morgan.
back to life. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm so grateful. Hang on. So grateful to even be here. Come here. Yes. Shh, listen, one more minute. Thank you for letting us be here and for sharing our story and for just being a part of our lives. And we're just so grateful. And my daughter is thriving because of you guys. So we appreciate that a lot.
And I hope to be part of your life for a
It's
long
really
time.
fun. It's been really fun, working alongside of you guys. And we are very appreciative and so grateful.
You're very welcome. And
Yeah,
I hope to be part of your family's life for a long time.
of course, yes. And we are just so happy and doing our thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, go have a
thanks for
great rest
having
of your
me.
night and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.